Hi, my name is Amber and this is my library book haul. So this is going to be a sort of library book haul because there's two books that I got for myself that I actually bought. And I know I said that in the last haul it would be my last time, but I just couldn't resist, and there was actually an opening so that I could buy it myself and not be getting in the way of the things that I needed to have the money for. So I was really happy because these two books were something that I've been wanting. So I'm going to share with you the books that I bought before I get into my library haul. The first book is The Long Walk by Stephen King. He wrote this book under his pseudonym Richard Bachman. I went to Barnes & Noble and I found this, and thank goodness, because I've been wanting to read this. Like 2 or 3 people have been talking about this book lately, and ever since they talked about it and reviewed it, I just been wanting to pick it up and read it myself. So now that I have it, I can pick it up at any time that I want to. If you do not know, The Long Walk is about this town where every year, I believe, these group of teenagers or young children gather together and have to go on the walk, this long walk, and at the end of the walk, only one person survives. Sounds very interesting, very Hunger Games-esque. Just like super excited to read this because I've only read one other book by Stephen King and I really enjoyed it, so I wanted to get into another one, and this sounded right up my alley. Last book that I bought was The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. I had this book as an ebook and I've been wanting it as a physical book. I haven't used my e-reader since for 2 years. I went crazy and I read a lot on it, but it just was going on the fritz on me and I couldn't afford to get a newer and nicer one. So I've been trying to find the books that I really loved that I had only read on the ebook, and this was one of them, and I finally was able to buy it. I've been wanting to own this in physical book since I first read it. I really loved the story, and if you do not know, this is about a young man, Dorian Gray, who had his portrait painted, and he kind of had this wish that he would stay as young as he was in the painting, and it comes true, but at a cost. It was very intriguing and a very interesting read, and overall an enjoyable one at that. On to my library book haul. 2 of the books I do not have with me. It's at the library waiting for me to pick them up, but I had gone to the library earlier today and now I can't go back because they came after I left, so it's kind of frustrating, but let me tell you what they are. The first one is Austenland. It's the first book in a series by Shannon Hale, I believe, and I'm guessing it has to do with Jane Austen, and why am I just guessing is because it's been a while since I read the synopsis and it's been on my to read eventually list for a long time. So I just grabbed it hoping that I'll like it. I've heard things off and on about it, mostly positive, so I was willing to grab it up. Then the second book, which made me almost seriously tempted to go to the library the same day, which was S by J.J. Abrams. This is a super intriguing book to me because the book is like a library book in and of itself. So when you open it up, it looks like there's that little tag in there and you see the people who borrowed it. It's like 2 stories in one. You have these 2 readers who wrote notes to each other throughout the story. You have these little leaflets that are inside of it that kind of bring more emphasis to their story or to the story itself. I don't remember which was which. And then you have the story that they're commenting around also, which is like the main story. So it's just really interesting. I am very excited. It's J.J. Abrams, so I'm expecting a lot from this.
But at the same time, I'm not really sure because J.J. Abrams, I don't believe, has written any other books, so I'm not really sure about it. And I read or tried to read House of Leaves, which I feel is kind of similar in the stylization of having 2 stories in one in the notes section kind of thing, and I did really like that. But it was a different style and everything, so I'm really hoping that this one will be more up my alley.
The next book is Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert. This is her memoir, and it's about when Elizabeth Gilbert decides to take a year-long trip through several countries, completely stripping away from the conventional life of America and doing things a little bit differently and just discovering herself through this year-long journey. I watched the film before realizing it was a book, and so I'm really looking forward to reading Elizabeth Gilbert's words and getting her full story through the original formation. But I'm also kind of worried that the film didn't do such a good job because I did enjoy the film, so I'm just like a little bit nervous about that. Last Letter from Your Lover by Jojo Moyes. 40 years earlier, a woman gets into a car accident and has amnesia. On the same day that she was supposed to leave her husband for her lover, and a journalist discovers the story, becomes obsessed with it, and hopes that it will revitalize her career. And this next book weren't even supposed to be on my list, wasn't supposed to be checked out. I was planning only to have 3 books out each month from the library, but I couldn't resist S, and when I got to the library, I found this book, Winter's Tale by Mark Helprin. I saw the previews for the film and I was super excited, and when I realized it was a book, I've been wanting to read it ever since. So I was quite surprised to see it at the library because I didn't really expect it at all. So excited to finally be able to read it. It's a little bit of a complicated storyline, I feel, to actually try to tell you what it is about, so I apologize, I'm not going to do that. If you want to know, just go on to Goodreads or look it up on Google. I'm sure you can find it out yourself, but I'm so looking forward to reading this chunker of a book. Hopefully I'll be able to before the end of this year. We'll see. This is my somewhat of a library haul, a little bit more than I was planning on. Thank you for watching and keep warm.